Okay. Yeah, Fairy says he's going to finish in 40 seconds, so he's just about finished his game. There he is, he's just finished right now, so he should be joining. I'll tell them both. Okay, remember, total score between all 5 rounds wins. So you can lose 1-0 4 times, but win 5-0 once and be the champion. Sounds make? Sounds make? Yeah, Fairy says he understands. And we'll start off with I think the lowest scoring is either drop shot or ice hockey. Which one should we start off with, chat? Spam 1 if you think drop shot is going to get less goals. 2 if you think snow day is going to get less goals. We're going to start off with the ones that get the least goals and build up to the ones that get the most goals. That's what we're going to try to do here. Yeah, I agree, boys. I agree. So we'll start off with drop shot. Round 1 of Jesse versus Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak, one of the best human players, but Jesse is no mere mortal. So he is obviously going to go into any matchup as the favourite. Never seen Jesse play drop shot. Never seen Fairy Peak play drop shot in a 1v1 setting. But you've got to give it to Jesse because he is not mortal. And Fairy is a mere mortal. Like I said though, this is total score wins. Oh, fake kickoff from Jesse, interesting. And into attempted control, which he has done. Wave dash is not enough though to beat Fairy to the ball. First damage does go to the Frenchman. Like I was saying, total score wins in this, and that means that if you are winning by, let's say you're down by a goal in drop shot, and your side of the pitch has got tons of damage taken on it, and the other player has got no damage at all. Let's say I'll paint the picture a little bit more accurately. Let's say that you're losing by 2 goals in drop shot, then both sides of the field take massive damage, but you get the goal to bring it back to 1. And there's only like 30 seconds left. At that point, what you should really be doing is just trying to defend and not concede another goal, because you're the massive underdog if your side of the field has huge damage on it and the other player has, got a clean slate. That way, you will enter into round 2. Oh, that was a close ultra damage from Fairy. But that way, you'll enter into round 2 only a goal down. And you're in no means in a bad position, only a goal down. We will go overtime in every round, however, just to allow one player to be the victor in every single round. There's obviously a chance that we get to the final, there's obviously a chance that when we get to the final, both players have the same score. And the tiebreaker that I think I'm going to use, and you guys in chat can let me know what your feedback is on this one, is that if both players get to the final and have the same score, that means that the player who won the last game will be the champion. So the player who wins the regular mode game would be the winner. Good start though for Fairy Peak. That is a very, very clean goal. Hardly any damage taken. Play My Gamer, welcome back for 15 months. Holy
15 months. Congratulations on all your
oh no way.
Much love.
Jesse's tied it.
Even though this one sub isn't significant.
It is significant. It absolutely is significant, man. Appreciate that, Play My Gamer. It was. I had to check that that was a clean demo, that it wasn't a messy demo, which has been happening a few times since the most recent patch. Good aerial 50-50 by Fairy Peak. Notice that all he's trying to do there is hit the ball dead center so that he can avoid losing the contest. Going for multiple touches as well. Why not? Fairy has definitely played a lot of drop shot. I'm noticing he's not feathering his boost much. He's letting it recharge, which is really smart. It's quite common in regular Rocket League. Oh, what a finish by Fairy. But I was going to say, it's quite common in regular Rocket League to just tap your boost every now and then just to, reposition, get some speed, keep on practicing that, muscle memory mid-game. Just keep your finger warm. But in drop shot, that's a really bad idea. You don't want to be feathering for no reason because it stops your boost recharge. Only briefly, but still stops it nonetheless. Jesse's looking very much in trouble because Fairy has hardly taken any damage before scoring his second goal. Jesse does pick up a good challenge to get some damage in a good location. That is close to the wall. Damage close to walls tends to be more advantageous in drop shot in my experience, because of course then you can use the wall to try and get a shot in from close range. The Fairy Peak has looked very in control. There we go, just close range wall shot. Very, very difficult for Jesse to defend because if he doesn't go for the ball, Fairy can just pop it over the top of him. And if he does go for the ball, or rather, if he does go for the ball, Fairy can pop it over the top of him. If he doesn't go for the ball, then Fairy can just leave it, and it hits the floor by itself. Fairy just not even letting Jesse get that out of his half. This is brutal. Jesse's floor has taken way more damage, where it's 92 versus 37. Still only a goal in it, though. You can never let your guard down in drop shot. Very easy to concede goals if you're not careful. And this is ultra damage in Fairy's half. He wants to be very careful, keep the ball close to himself in this situation. Doesn't want to give it to Jesse for free, but Jesse's missed on the open shot. The floor was gaping. But Fairy's going to be the one to pick up that ultra damage. Might be able to pick up a goal here as well. Should have, and he did. He will. Should have got it before without the bounce, but it doesn't matter. He's got it in. 3-1. That puts Fairy up by 2, of course, for the total score between all these games. I'll keep on repeating myself just in case people get confused that losing multiple rounds doesn't matter as long as you get the total score that is the highest. Oh, Fairy's got to be careful. That ball wasn't in any sort of high momentum situation, but it did have Jesse's last touch, which meant it was just bubbling around, dealing damage. So long as the ball's bouncing, it doesn't matter how fast it is, it will deal damage to the floor. But with how well Fairy's been playing, Jesse should really just try and not concede another goal, I think. He's got to just try to stop Fairy from sneaking in this damage that he's been doing so well. He's done such a great job of just getting Jesse away from the ball. He's even trying to shoot that towards the hole that he's already started to create. Fairy is just one step ahead of everywhere Jesse goes. Final 30 seconds approaching. Is Jesse going to try and go for the goal? I don't think it wise if he does. Fairy has outmatched him so far. And losing this round by 2 goals doesn't matter. It's probably going to be the lowest scoring round. Jesse can look to pick up those points in later rounds. Far more important to try not to concede again, in my opinion, as losing by 3 in drop shot is quite a huge win for Fairy. Fairy's done such a good job in every situation where he's on the wall beside the ball, just waiting his time. Are there any holes here for Fairy to shoot at? Because if there are no holes, of course it doesn't matter. Oh, there's exactly one, and Fairy went for it. Didn't quite get it, but he's up by 2. Total score is 3-1 in Fairy Peak's favour. Jesse drop in game 1. I've got to remember here to change the game mode, of course, for sure. So Snow Day is, I think, the next map, or the next least likely. We'll do DFH this time. The OG DFH. This is where Snow Day was initially released. But this, this, in my opinion, should be the one that has the second least amount of goals. Usually, I think on average, if we played 100 of these rounds, drop shot would be the one that gets the least total goals, followed by Snow Day. But it might, this could be lower. 3-1 is
well click this button
is quite high.
Yes. How's it going?
Oh, the Batmobile finally might have its way with the Octane on kickoffs, because the Octane's height doesn't really matter. Jesse's saying, why does he have 70 ping? Well, he meant to say 70. It's a good question for somebody who lives in the Netherlands. Of course, the servers for Europe are often in Amsterdam. The Netherlands players can have as low as 4 ping at times, or even 0 I have seen. Now, what is Fairy going to try and do? Because, of course, starting a bounce dribble with the puck is almost impossible. Usually players will opt to take it to the wall and then try to pop it off the wall, either by rolling it into the ceiling or just by getting it to impact, like kind of roll up the wall in a messy fashion. But Fairy, of course, already has the lead. He doesn't have any pressure on him. Not just the lead in this individual game, but overall. Now, Jesse does have the ball bobbling, which is good. That is what you want, because it is harder for the defender to predict. But Fairy Peak again, just stationary 50-50. The mastery that this man is showing us. And listen to that very, very triggering goal explosion. Oh, that's so smart. The single jump 50-50 by Fairy. He's staying low, just bullying Jesse. And my bad, I should have watched that replay all the way through so we could hear the party explosion. Probably the most triggering goal explosion to date. Regi, thanks for the 15 months, by the way. I really appreciate that. Oh my goodness, Fairy's so close to another well-executed goal. He's looked very, very good so far. Looking very solid on 50-50s, which is impressive. Not many players are good at the puck manipulation, I'm sure. Fairy looks like he might be one of them. Is he going to go for a shot off this wall? The puck is off the wall. It is bouncing. He's dribbled it in as Fairy. There's that triggering explosion again. Jesse, I'm sure, could have saved this, but it's so hard to predict where the ball is going to go, and that's a messy dodge recovery by Jesse, landing very poorly. He's finding himself very far behind. He says lag in the chat. 60 ping, not what he's used to. I will give him a server change after this. Batmobile OP, well, it seems so. Fairy Peak Batmobile might just be overpowered. He's going for a 4-pincher ceiling shot here. But Fairy Peak's looking great. This is a huge, huge lead for only 2 games in. When I played Toasty, I think the goal difference in this mode between myself and himself was 1 in each. So I would have been up by 2 at the end of round 2 had we done these games in the same order. Now Jesse on the breakaway needs to be careful not to dribble into the post. He's done well. He's done well. That was about as fast as he could have got the ball in there, so credit to him for taking the path of least resistance. You got salty from a trade up? Oh my goodness, I'm jealous. For anybody who doesn't know, there's a banner in Rocket League called Salty, and I really, really want it, because if you score and then the salty banner comes up, the other team are bound to be salty. Fairy Peak is consistently dribbling the puck. I've never seen this before, although I have never seen many 1v1s in this mode. This is very impressive though, because the puck is so heavy. Something that I wish would be changed. I was talking about this in my previous 1v1 in this mode against Toasty, that I wish the puck was a little bit lighter. I feel like when you hit it, it should go further, and your car shouldn't get impacted backwards. It just doesn't feel good to be so impacted by something that you think is going to fly, because usually in hockey, when you hit that puck, it goes absolutely sailing through the air. But this puck is not like that at all. It's impossible almost to hit it off the ground. Even if the puck is coming at you and you drive into it really fast, it almost slows you down more than you can send it back in the opposite direction. So Jesse's surely going to go for a demo here. Instead decides to back off, respecting Fairy's dribbling ability, which, seeing what Fairy has been able to accomplish so far, is not unwise. He has been very impressive in 2 unconventional game modes. I wonder if there were a ranked Snow Day, who would be the 1v1 ranked Snow Day champion? I don't know if... Oh my goodness, what a pop by Jesse. I don't think he meant to do that. Tried to take a light touch, and instead he sends it flying away from himself. But notice when Jesse was trying to dribble there, his car was consistently getting bumped away from the puck, just because the puck is so heavy. And that might be a goal. It will be a goal. Jesse has beamed it. Fairy using the strategy which I really thought I'd see more of, just rolling around that sidewall, makes it so difficult to clear because it hugs the wall so tightly. Still Jesse, huge bean, definitely bean of the day from him. He's given himself a nice shot in the chat. Kickoff starting to go better for him. But is this another one of those situations where he might just have to admit that Fairy Peak might have his number in this mode and then hope to take him down in Rumble, maybe take him down in the regular 1v1? Never something you want to be doing against Fairy Peak, relying on just beating him in a straight up 1v1. Not many players in the world would be confident going into that mode, if already behind. Look at that though by Jesse, great control. He's kept it bouncing, making it difficult for Fairy to consistently challenge. Perhaps a missed opportunity there for Jesse. Overestimated how fast Fairy was going to recover. And he's now centered it for Fairy. This is not very good. Once again. You think my shirt is ugly? How dare you? It's got flamingos on it and palm trees. I like it. I need to get more of these. I need to get a pink one, maybe a red one. Need to get them in all sorts of colors. This is looking pretty bad for Jesse. Bad start and bad continuation in this into this series. Still not over though. That is a double demo, by the way. Still not over, of course. Even trailing by as much as 6 goals in the second set is surmountable. Is a surmountable deficit. Very big, trying to get a bounce dribble started, but it just doesn't happen. That is one other reason I wish they would just make the puck a little bit lighter on default. I mean, we could do that ourselves, but I think that default ice hockey mode should have a lighter puck. This is just, it's silly that the cars get impacted so much as they do. And it's impossible to start a bounce dribble, almost. Maybe that's something that they wanted. They wanted the puck to stick to the ground. They wanted it to stick to walls, to kind of skirt around the field, which might be good for lower rated players so they don't lose control of it. Oh, Jesse trying to get the ceiling shot in a situation where floor pinch might have been better. Puck, of course, easier to pinch than a ball, and he's done well in the 50-50. Surely, no, he can't get it in. Looks like he is going to drop the second set by 4 goals, unless he can do some magic here. No, he can't. 6-2. Fairy Peak with a monstrous score in a mode. Yeah, I'll change the server here. Alright, but we're on to hoops now. I'll queue us up for hoops before I add these scores on. Oh my goodness, this is going to be huge. 9-3. 9 goals from the ice hockey and the drop shot is huge for Fairy Peak, because hoops is not a mode where you expect to win by 6, especially not against Fairy Peak. We'll have to wait and see. What does Jesse have in store? Has he got it in him to make this comeback happen? So far, both players have missed the ball, so that's good. It looks like they've not been playing hoops at all. That's really, really good start for them. Oh, Jesse, the bean machine, thought about the own goal. He'll finally be able to get those bounce dribbles started. And this is a very dribbly map, so I think that Jesse could do well here. Tries to land on top of Fairy Peak. Fairy Peak avoids him. Gets a save. Torben Schmenik, thanks for the Prime sub, by the way. Hope I didn't say your name wrong, but welcome to the stream regardless. Hope you're having a good day. Fairy Peak air dribble into the front of the hoop. But Jesse does well. Can he get a recovery? No, he can't. Fairy Peak denies him. And just look at all those balloons rising out of the top of the hoop. Jesse could have done better here. He did well to keep it out initially, but he could have also kept it out and also got it clear of danger. Credit to Fairy Peak, though, for dribbling to the front of the hoop. That is a very smart thing to do, because it's harder to get a save further away from the wall. And Fairy Peak might just be 2-0. Yes, he will. Fairy Peak is completely annihilating Jesse. Jesse yet to connect with a kickoff. Is he going to get this one? Third time lucky. Feathering his boost smartly. Doesn't come off the favorite, though, and Fairy Peak might be able to get a third here. Yes, he will. Jesse is just getting annihilated. What is he going to do against a man who's just so good at unconventional game modes? Really smart by Fairy Peak there to pop the ball with the back of his car. He wouldn't have had a pop with the front. It's something that I'm sure a lot of you guys still need to master yourselves. That if you don't have enough speed... Oh, good body by Jesse. He's on the board. But like I was saying, if you don't have enough speed to get underneath the ball and flick it conventionally, then, you know, going under it a little bit further and then front flipping to get the back of your car to pop it can oftentimes get more elevation on the ball than a flick would. Is this a comeback for Jesse? Gets rimmed by himself. Fairy Peak spacing Jesse really well there. He just read his play like a book. Not able to get the pop at the near post, though. Beaning the flick also. And Jesse beans a flick. Everybody's beating flicks. Fairy can't get the height. The hoop has evaded 3 shots by Fairy Peak. Will it evade a 4th? Yes, it will. Jesse gets rimmed again, though. And that's going to be 4-1 Fairy Peak. Jesse is just giving himself a mountain to climb. He was already 6 behind going into this. Now he is 9 behind. Fairy continuing his domination. And I'm not a fan of this by Jesse. He's putting himself in a very awkward position. His inconsistency on face-offs has led him to lose faith in himself. But a good save. And avoids the demo by Fairy. He might not have known much about it. Fairy Peak really should have scored here. If he popped that to the backboard and continued to the rebound, that would have been a goal. Good shot by Jesse, but he does get denied by the rim yet again. Jesse's having a bad day at the rims. Fairy Peak, on the other hand, don't be fooled by the 4 shots to 2. I don't think that hoops registers shots properly just yet. If you shoot the ball at the back wall with a trajectory which is never on target, I believe it does still register as a shot, so long as it hits the part of the wall where the goal would be if there was a goal, a regular goal in this map. Same thing for saves. Like, it's very hard to get real saves in hoops because the goal is coded to be where a normal goal would be rather than where the hoop is. Unless they've changed that, but I don't think they have. Jesse gets rimmed again. Double rim on the ball. And Fairy Peak is asking a lot of questions of Jesse here. Jesse has one more answer, but does he have a third? This is going to be so hard to stop because Fairy is just dunking it in. Even if Jesse does get the save, he's got to somehow avoid Fairy Peak dunking it. And this is just a showcase of the strength of air dribbles on hoops. Look how hard that is to save. Is it even possible? Fairy Peak goes up by 10 goals total. Continues to sweep. Jesse brings it back into single figures though. The acidity, thanks for the 2 months in a row. Welcome back to you. Hope you're having a good day. We will indeed have time to finish off this series before RLCS starts. RLCS is in 26 minutes. So I'm sure that even with Overtime Rumble and Overtime Soccer, we'll have a easy time getting done on time. Good dodge by Jesse. Notice he's taken a wider line there to go up on the wall just to make it harder for Fairy Peak to demo him. But shooting close to the wall, not really making it very difficult for Fairy to get the save. Jesse, I thought he was going to have a better time here on this map, but Fairy Peak has just been the king of unconventional game modes. Great control, great shot from the ground. Jesse with a save from the back wall, and he's back in play as well. Excellent save by Jesse. An important one as well. Every save counts, of course. Oh, Jesse gets rimmed. He's not had as good evasion on the rim as Fairy has to be said. But credit to Jesse for sticking in. The last two game modes, or the last two rounds, are bound to have more goals than what we've had so far. Last was 6-2, so ice hockey currently 1 goal more than hoops, but I think we're bound to see a couple more goals before this is over. Another great read by Fairy, perfectly intercepting Jesse's first touch. If anybody's wondering, what should Jesse do here? He should just not accelerate as hard into the ball. He needs a lighter first touch there and then immediately pop it with a flip. That would have put it over the top of Fairy's car. Instead, he's gone for a heavy first touch, trying to set up a shot on the bounce. And Fairy Peak has read it with an interception. Second time that he's done that this game as well. And we're now at the same deficit for Jesse as we had at the end of the ice hockey round. Will it get worse? Will it get better? I don't know. I'm a believer in Jesse. I think he's got another goal in him. I think he can do it. He's just got to score a high or shoot a high percentage ball at Fairy's net, and these are certainly not the shots that he's looking for. Popping it into areas where Fairy is very capable of saving. There we go. Now this should be a goal for Jesse. This is wide open. Can he find the open net? Yes, he can. 6-3. So far, every round has had more goals than the last. So that was true. 9-3 is the totals of the previous games. We had 3-1 in drop shot in favour of Fairy. We had 6-2 in ice hockey in favour of Fairy, and now he's 6-3 in hoops. So they're looking very good. And Jesse's rimmed himself again. Oh no! And that is the worst rim yet. We have to give this another look, as Jesse, put in an awkward position, just decides to have a makeout session with the bottom of the rim. 7-3. He's down by 10 yet again. Will it get worse? I hope not. I hope he can hang on, because this is just getting worse and worse with every step that gets taken. Still though, Jesse is not out of it yet. We deliberately ordered the game modes like this because we think that every game mode is going to get more goals than the previous one. And that means that comebacks are more likely to happen, right? What are we up to? 17, or 7 plus 9 is 16. 3 plus 3 is 6. So 10 goal deficit. Can Jesse bring this back? Even though the 10 goals separate these guys. Let's go to... What are we going to go for? Let's go for DFH. No, let's go for Champions Field Day. There we go. Should be an interesting one. And this is Rumble. Rumble generally has less goals than regular 1v1 because a lot of the Rumble power-ups are better on defense than they are in offense. Or at least they're useful on defense. Like you might not be able to save a shot in 1v1. Oh, that's a great body by Jesse. Phenomenal start. Double pop into the aerial bump. That is expertly done. He did do that on purpose as well, flying straight into Fairy Peak. Important for Jesse not to get too carried away with this. He should be looking at the Rumble round and thinking, I need to probably win by about 5, maybe 6. But even picking up a win by 4 would be sufficient, because then if he can just get the ball rolling, start to get his momentum going in the final round, the comeback trail could be started. But it's going to be tough. Fairy Peak is, of course, one of the best 1v1 players in the world. I was joking at the start, obviously, when I said that Jesse was the favourite going into this. He is certainly the underdog, but not by much. He's been playing a lot of 1v1 recently, and he's been playing a lot against Scrub Killer recently, so that's a pretty good sparring partner if you need to pick someone. So far, so good. We've not seen any Rumble power-ups really make a huge play just yet. We might see one here, though. Jesse slow playing this dribble could be advantageous, because if there's a lot of power-ups you can pick up, which are going to be useful. That's another great aerial bump. He's done this twice in a row. Jesse with a double pop and then flies into Fairy. He did have the freeze, so of course he didn't want to use that. That was a useless power-up for Jesse. Fairy Peak trying to pull the ball out of the net with the plunger. Might have been better for Fairy to stay on the ground there. But that being said, the plunger may have been acquired mid-air. Oh, Jesse missing on the save. A goal which he really should have been stopping. Fairy Peak didn't get the power on the volley that he wanted, but Jesse expected the top left shot to be the destination. Instead, it did go over his right shoulder. Total aggregate score 9 in the lead for Fairy. There's the flick, which is hard to control with the Batmobile. Old or new. Well, this is big for Jesse. That's a huge power up. Fairy Peak has the boomer. So Jesse, if he can get some distance here, he is certainly in an advantage. And flying into the goal is going to be one way to do it. Fairy Peak needs to be close to the ball to utilize this boomer. I think Fairy should have blunked it right here. He should have just activated the boomer and cleared it from danger, because there's a lot of power ups there for Jesse, which could be instant goals, such as the haymaker. Even the grappling hook is quite easy to utilize in that position. Is this the start of the comeback? Yeah, man, thanks for the 25-year host. Hope you had a good stream, man. 2 seconds on the power up. He's got a good one. This is really, really useful, because he could just send Fairy clean out the way. Well played by Jesse. Got the disruptor. And if anybody doesn't know what that does, it gives your opponent 100 boost and it forces them to use it. So Fairy Peak was just sent clean away from the ball. 25 years. Did I say 25-year host? I meant to say viewer host. Sorry, I just can't speak. 3-goal advantage. This is a great start to the Jesse's comeback, which he very much needs, but Fairy Peak's flicks are looking just as good as they ever have. Octane or Batmobile, it doesn't matter. He's found the top corner with good speed as well. 0 boost, but who cares when you can flick like Fairy. Bringing it back within 2. Still a long time left on this Rumble 1v1 though. So far, Jesse has looked like the player who has utilized power-ups far more effectively than Fairy. So if I were Jesse, I'd be waiting for power-ups to come into play before trying to get involved in any play. This might have been bad for him though. If he did wait there, if Fairy had slow played that attack, popped the ball at Jesse's net, and then just player swapped Jesse out the way, it would have been a guaranteed goal given what Jesse had. So he wasn't dealt a very good hand there, was Jesse. Either way, Fairy air dribble would have been a goal. Oh, this is another bad draw for Jesse. Fairy's got a very, very useful power up. He can just send Jesse flying out the way. Jesse's managed to find a good use for the freeze, so credit to him. He's stalled a lot of time there. Fairy Peak will be looking for a shot on net and then beam Jesse out the goal.
To show some support. Love your streams, Johnny, and keep up the good work.
Zany Kyle, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I really do. Thanks for the kind words and the 3. There's a great beam by Fairy. Jesse doesn't have power up, but he does have the save. He could just drive past the ball here and look to plunge it in, and that's exactly what he's going to do. What a play by Jesse. Goal line save. Plunger counter. Doesn't need the ball. Takes the fast track. Hypotenuse is faster than the 2 longer sides of the triangle. And that is a huge turnaround. If Fairy had tied the game there, it may well have been over for Jesse, but he's very much still in it. And a great dodge to get that ball in. Fairy may have bumped Jesse off target here, but Jesse dodges back into the way of the ball. Fairy may have been able to catch up with that, so that is really, really, really good play by Jesse. Up by 3. Can he do more damage, though, to Fairy's lead? He does, I think, need to do more damage in this. Going into the final round with 7 goals behind is probably too much. Fairy preferring not to wait for more power-ups. And Jesse with a grappling hook save. What a play. Fairy has the tornado. He should just use it. I don't know if he's aware of what this does, but it'll pop the ball into the air above him, and then he can just carry it towards Jesse's net, and Jesse will get taken out the game. But Jesse has the spikes. Got to be careful to stay away from Fairy, though, because that is going to trip him up, and it does trip him up. Can Jesse get back into the play? Fairy is going to beat him to it, and that is a goal. Jesse did not stay away from Fairy's Storm, and the Storm is always going to beat the spikes. Fairy does get one back on the board. 2 goals the difference in this round. 8 goals the difference aggregate. And I don't think you need to be a prophet to say that Fairy has got to be a huge favourite to take the entire series, going into a straight up 1v1 with an 8-goal lead. And this time Jesse's power up falls second best yet again. There will be times in the Rumble round where you're going to lose the rock paper scissors battle, and that is one of them. Fairy Peak Haymaker was superior to Jesse's boot. So all Jesse was able to do was give Fairy a slightly longer distance away from the ball to shoot the Haymaker with. Jesse almost getting it past Fairy. Doesn't go for the wall bang. This is quite good. Jesse could utilize this player swap, but if Fairy just one pop and a boom is a goal for Fairy. Again, he hasn't looked as good in the Rumble round as he did in other game modes, but if he is aware that you can just shoot the ball and then Haymaker it immediately afterwards, and it sends an absolute zinger to your opponent's net right here. He should be shooting that, and then immediately after shooting it, using the Haymaker to clunk it 10 times faster. The way that he did it gave Jesse a chance to score. 7 all. Will it be 8? Not quite. Oh yes, it will. Fairy has snuck it in, and this is looking like it will be curtains for Jesse. He had a 3-goal lead, but that goal lead has long gone and crumbled. And he's given himself the impossible task of beating Fairy by 11 goals in a heads-up 1v1. That has never happened before, I'm pretty sure. Fairy's won a 1v1 by 11 goals on my stream. I think he beat Doomsy by 11 before. Or was it 10? I don't recall. But Fairy just looking too solid. Even though he's not utilised the power-ups that well, I must say. He got a bit of power-up luck here and there. And his off the non-power-up play has certainly been superior to Jesse, which is another thing that bodes very badly for Jesse if you are going into... Oh, I've just gone to direct your camera. Hold on. There we go. It's another thing that bodes very badly for Jesse going into a heads-up 1v1. If you're losing a Rumble 1v1 in a matchup that you've looked like the player using the Rumble power-ups better... Oh, what a save by Jesse. Fairy Peak might just fill it back in. Yes, he will. Jesse loses the rock, paper, scissors yet again. That was a great catch by Fairy. Jesse got the post pinch on the save. Nearly manages to save it there, but used his plunger a little bit too early. Both players did have the plunger there. Of course, I don't know what the total score is going to be, but this is immense. Fairy is 26 goals. What a pop by Fairy. We see from Jesse's perspective that Jesse just has no idea where Fairy's going to pop this. That is an incredibly good touch. A Cuxer-esque touch from Fairy. And that is his 6th consecutive goal. I think 7th consecutive goal, in fact. He was down by 7-4, and he scored enough to go up by 3, or up by 4 even. Increasing his total lead by 14. This should be a goal for Jesse, though. What has Fairy got? He does have a freeze, maybe? Oh, it didn't catch what happened. Instead of Jesse scoring, though, it should be Fairy. Oh, no, he can't get it in. The post does deny him. But this is turning into an absolute slaughter. I believe the final score was 11-7. So that brings the total score 27-13. Jesse has possibly the hardest task in the history of Rocket League, and that is to beat Fairy Peak by 13 goals. 14 goals. I don't know if it's going to happen. What do you guys think? Do you think this is possible? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about this one. Let's go into... Where's the new wasteland? We'll give the new wasteland a go. Maybe that's what Jesse needs. Maybe this is what he requires to make the 14-goal victory. It's possible, but I don't see it. What do you do? If you're Jesse going into this and somebody tells you you need to win by 14 goals just to win this, you probably just have to play the game of your life, get a bit lucky, hope for Fairy to play worse than he usually does, and win every single kickoff. So far, bad start. Fairy Peak is just looking for the clean sweep. He's won every single round so far. Is he going to be able to take 5 in a row? Just absolutely ace Jesse. I'm a believer, because Fairy Peak, he's looked pretty good all day. He's in the new Batmobile, or the new old Batmobile, I should say, boost starving on Fleet. How is he going to do in the final round? One thing that is worth mentioning, there were 18 goals in the Rumble round. That is a phenomenally high-scoring Rumble round, I must say. Usually Rumble rounds are lower scoring than a regular 1v1. Especially with Fairy's stellar defense, I'm not expecting there to be more than 18 goals in this round. There were, I believe, 9 goals in the Hoops round. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Fairy won the Hoops round 6-3, right? I think he won the Hoops round 6-3, which would mean that we're looking for there to be more than 9 goals in this round to get more than the Hoops did. This has been a long period of play with no goals, though. Both players into their boost conservation mode, which Jesse seems to be a battle which Jesse seems to be losing. And how does Jesse challenge somebody who can flick the ball as well as Fairy? Decides to play this one fully reactively, but this is not an easy situation to be in. Fairy is just continuing to ask questions at Jesse's net, and eventually Jesse does let one go in. Not the best landing, it has to be said. Jesse could have landed better there. He could have landed better. 2-0. It was a good catch again by Fairy. He's very good at starting the ball rolling in the Batmobile, which is something that is quite difficult because the Batmobile being such a low-profile car, if you don't catch it spot on, then it's going to bounce over you a lot easier than it would bounce over an Octane. 3-0. Is Fairy even going to concede? This is absolutely brutal. Probably the biggest defeat that Jesse's ever had. Total. Oh, he's going for the double touch. He's looking pretty good. Fairy is on fire. This is phenomenally done. Off the wall, slams it to the backboard, and immediately starts following it. Jesse got a touch, but not enough. 4-0. Fairy Peak looking to set down a marker, perhaps for the biggest victory of all time, and this is only the second ever pentathlon that has been played. What did I beat Toasty by earlier? I can't remember what the total score was. I've forgotten. I think I beat him by like 7 or something. I certainly did not beat him by as much as Fairy is beating Jesse by right now. That puts us to 19. Jesse is just going from worse to worse to worse to worse to worst. This is becoming the worst thing imaginable for him. He can't even score at the moment. Surely now, kickoff goal. Oh, he gets denied by the crossbar. That is horrible. It's even going to bounce up high. That is the worst possible bounce for Jesse. It was up high and hugging the wall, so it was not even scoreable. And he's missed the boost in the midfield. Everything is just going wrong for the young man from the Netherlands. Loses at 50-50 the edge of the box. And Fairy's going to make it 6. Not even half the game gone, and Jesse is now aggregate down by 20. Incredible. What is the total? Yeah, I beat Toasty by 7 altogether. 22-5 was the total score when I played Toasty in this pentathlon game mode. Which we did order the games a little bit differently, but it didn't make that much of a difference. Fairy Peak is looking so good with the new Batmobile. This is just as good as I've ever seen him play. Got to give him a lot of credit as well for the drop shot in the ice hockey round. I was very impressed with his ability in both of those. For Hoops and Rumble, they were a bit less dominating. Oh my goodness. Is he finishing with a bang? This is brutal. Jesse now just getting faked clean over the ball. Fairy is inside his mind so much he's going to have to start paying rent. Is Jesse even going to get a goal? If there's ever a goal that Fairy might let in, it's probably right now, but it doesn't look like he's interested in letting that happen. This is completely brutal. 8-0. Fairy is absolutely steamrolling Jesse. This is not Jesse even playing too badly. Fairy's not giving him a chance. This is astonishingly good play. He's looking so clean, so consistent. Everything he does is just unbelievable. What on earth are we witnessing? freestyle delayed pop into the body, which, albeit accidental, is just the reward for creativity. That was absolutely disgusting by Fairy. Catching the ball at the very last second of his car's rotation in the dodge. 10-0. There's still almost 2 minutes to go. Fairy's setting records here. The current record largest deficit in a 1v1 on stream is 13. Fairy is looking to blow that out of the water. He's up to 11. And there's 1 minute and 47 seconds left. Jesse is returning to his meme status, and he's left the match. He doesn't want to be the one to concede the game by the largest score in history, and I think I've got to say it was going to happen. That is GG's. Jesse with the rage quit. He loses the final round 12-0. I was happy to let Fairy Peak continue to score in an open net if he wanted to, but Jesse has just been absolutely demolished here. There's no other way to put it. That is the most one-sided series I've ever seen. 12-0. What does that make it? 39-13. That is he's tripled Jesse's score. Jesse scored 13 goals, and Fairy Peak tripled it. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen Fairy look that dominant. That was the most dominant Fairy Peak I have ever seen, and I'm not even exaggerating. He just looks so confident with every single touch that he makes. He just goes for it, knowing full well that he's got the ball under control. Just utter annihilation. I just got a message from one of Debo's IRL friends saying, "Can I play on your stream, preferably against Jesse, who is now offline?" Oh my goodness, poor Jesse. I feel bad. That was like, what do you do? What do you do if you're against Fairy and Fairy's on fire and he's playing his A game? Who would win? Not many people. That's who would win. So that's GG's is what that is. 39-13. The one thing that I have to say that I'm disappointed about is Fairy didn't get a chance to beat Kronovi's record straight up for the most one-sided 1v1 that's ever been on stream. Currently 17-4 is the most sided 1v1. That was Kronovi over Insolences, and I'm pretty sure that Fairy Peak was on track to smash that record.